as an assistant professor in electrical engineering department at Harcourt Butler Technical University, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, India. Sir is having many portfolios under his name. He is an office in charge SPS engineering. He was ex-university faculty in charge placement. He is ex-associate dean academic affairs, and so on. Sir has completed his PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee in 2016, and his thesis was on performance enhancement of multi-level inverter for induction motor drive. During his period of PhD, he has published several papers in reputed journals. To name a few: Journal of Institution of Engineers India, IETE Taylor and Francis, Electric Power Component and System Taylor and Francis, and Arabian Journal of Science and Engineering Springer. So we welcome you to deliver this talk on multi-level inverter for induction motor. I'll hand over this session to our expert, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Arvindji. Thank you very much for inviting me such a wonderful event, that is your webinar. And let me show the screen, just a minute. Dr. Arvind, is it visible? Slides are visible or not?
Yeah, it's visual.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. See, as the topic is multi-level inverter for induction motor drive, as Dr. Arvind told me that some of the BTech student plus MTech research scholar and some faculties are involved in this webinar. They are attending this webinar. So I made this presentation in two segments, right? The first one is for the beginners. They they are supposed to do some project in the final year of BTech engineering. So something for them, then for researcher, and then for particular specialized those who are working in the field of multi-level inverter, right? See, as we know that this induction motor drive is very, very popular. Why it is popular? Because they require least maintenance. They are robust in nature, right? And we required variable frequency drive. Fine. To have variable frequency drive, and one question must maybe arise, that is why variable frequency drive? The reason is we want to operate our induction motor at constant flux. To have constant flux, we must have the ratio, that is V by F. That has to be constant, right? So to have that constant ratio, we operate our induction motor at V by F control, right? Just a minute. Arvindji, is it visible?
Actually, there are several versions of slide.
Okay.
Yeah, now it is
just
visible.
Okay, now it is coming, huh?
No, again, I think the same issue is there.
Now is it coming?
Yeah, it's coming now.
Okay, fine. So, why we use this V by F control? because we want that constant flux operation, right? And this constant flux, okay, for having constant flux, we must have the ratio, that is V by F, has to be constant. Means we want variable frequency, variable voltage, so that this ratio has to be constant irrespective of the change in speed. To have this, we require inverter, right? And this inverter could be two-level inverter, what we have generally used, right? These two-level inverters having several problems. We will discuss all those things in this, right? So the various points which are to be discussed are introduction, means why we use this inverter that I have just told you. Then what are the problem with this? To overcome these problems, we go for multi-level inverter. Then in case of multi-level inverter, what are the various type of these inverter, their control, and then application, right? All these things we will try to discuss. So as I said, in case of two-level inverter, the first problem that is they are having several harmonic. As we know, our appliances are meant for sinusoidal supply, but as this two-level inverter, they are producing quasi-scale waveform, that is plus VDC and minus VDC. So this is quasi-scale waveform is having huge content of harmonic. They are having all odd order harmonic, one that is third, fourth, fifth, seventh, and several more. These harmonics are undesirable. To overcome this, we have to do something, right? One thing. Second thing, they are suffering from high dV/dt problem, right? Means the moment the switch is turned on, the voltage V is applied. The moment the switch is off, 0 is applied. So rate of change of voltage is quite high. That is undesirable for our switching device, right? Another thing, to have sinusoidal supply means, see, we don't have sinusoidal supply. For having sinusoidal supply, switching frequency has to be very, very high. But as switching frequency goes high, switching losses occur and efficiency of inverters deteriorate, right? So that is another aspect of this high switching frequency. Clear? So this is the one problem, that is high dV/dt, and the switching frequency means that when the switching frequency is high, a lot of interference related issue generates. Our inverter efficiency goes down. All these issues related to high switching frequency. Then we next problem. Suppose we want higher voltage or higher current application. In that case, we required several devices has to be connected in series to have high voltage, right? That is another problem. So to overcome all these, a multi-level inverter is used. It will give you a staircase waveform. It will give you a staircase waveform. Let me take and you can see the first inverter, that is this. It can, let me change the color. Okay, it can give you either 0 voltage or VC voltage. VA, that is known as the pole voltage. It is known as the pole voltage. So pole voltage can have two values. One is 0, other one is VC. So it is called two level. I am just showing the single leg, right? For three phase, there will be, of course, three leg will be there. Similarly, for three level inverter, we can have pole voltage either this switch is connected to this point, so we will have 0 voltage, or this switch is connected to here, so we'll have plus VC, or this switch could be connected here, so we can have 2 VC. So the voltage level what we will get here are 0, VC and 2 VC. Likewise, we could have n level inverter. We could have n level inverter. The more the number of level, more the waveform going towards the sinusoidal wave shape. right? And advantages of this multi-level inversion operations are it can generate output voltage with extremely low distortion and low dV by dt. What it means? It means as the number of stairs are involved, so your waveform, which was in two-level inverter just going from 0 to VDC or coming from VDC to 0, now in this case it will go like 0 to VDC by N, then VDC by N to 2 VDC by N, then 3 VDC by N, then 4 VDC by N, so on and so forth. So there are stairs. Now, if they are stairs, of course, it is approaching towards the sinusoidal. And other thing that it is having low dV by dt, because now switching is happening between the VDC by N, 0 and VDC by N, or VDC by N to 2 VDC by N, so on and so forth. So this is the advantage of the multi-level inversion operation, right? Another thing, as the waveform is sinusoidal, so they draw the harmonic current. I mean, the current which they draw, that is having very less distortion in the current harmonic. Other thing, that is they generate very small common mode voltage. Even the common mode voltage can be eliminated in case of multi-level inversion operation. Another advantage, that is the switching frequency. They operate at very, very low switching frequency. Even sometime it is possible to have the frequency at the fundamental level, right? Means you want to output at 50 Hertz and switching frequency is also could be 50 Hertz. Means in a single cycle, switching occur only once in a cycle. That is the beauty of this multi-level inverter. See, this is the one aspect. So we can conduct project in this multi-level inversion operation for our BTech student as well. It is not expected that they will do something great, but of course they can analyze the existing topology. And what are these existing topologies? These are three: diode clamp multi-level inverter, other one is flying capacitor multi-level inverter, then we have series oblique cascade. Means this series, there are several modules which are connected in series. That is why sometimes it is called series H-bridge multi-level inverter. I'll discuss one by one, but of course little bit in hurry. Whatever the question in your mind, you just put it in the WhatsApp group. I'll answer in the last all the queries. And if during the presentation, if you have any query, you just put in the WhatsApp, and I request to Dr. Arvind, if someone is asking question related to present slide, you just interrupt me so that I can answer. All right? Okay. Now, this is the diode clamp inverter. This is the diode clamp inverter. You can see why we call it diode clamp, because there are the diode which are used to clamping the level. That is why it is called diode clamp inverter. This is 3-level inverter. Here you can have this pole voltage 0. It could be 0. It could be VDC by 2, or it could be VDC. So it is the 3-level inverter. Likewise, here we have 5-level inverter. Here we have 5-level inverter. What it could be? It could be, see, I have measured, you just notice one thing. Pole voltage, it is the voltage measured with respect to certain point. For example, I have measured here. In that case, you will have 0, then VDC by 2 and VDC, right? But if you measure with respect to this neutral, you can have minus VDC by 2, minus VDC by 2, 0 and plus VDC by 2, right? So don't get confused. You can have either minus VDC by 2, 0 and VDC by 2. Net difference is VDC, means that is the DC link voltage. That is the DC link voltage. here this. Similarly, here you can have minus VDC by 2, minus VDC by 2, minus VDC by 4, 0, plus VDC by 4 and VDC by 2. And how we can achieve these level, this depend upon the switching of these devices. This depend upon the switching of these devices. 8 devices are there to have 5-level inverter in a single phase, right? So suppose it is a 3-phase, you require 24 devices. You require 24 devices, right? So I just give you how various levels are generated, right? For example, you want to generate voltage level VDC by 2, means UN is equal to VDC by 2. To have this, what you have to do? You have to turn on all upper switches, S1 to S4. Once all these switches are on, this point is connected to here. Once it is connected to here with respect to this neutral, what is the voltage? This is VDC by 2, right? So to have voltage level VDC by 2, you must turn on all the voltage. Likewise, suppose you want voltage level VDC by 4. To have voltage level VDC by 4, what you have to do, let me change the color. Let me change the color. To have voltage level VDC by 4, what you have to do, you have to turn on all the 3 switches, this S2, S3, S4, and one lower switch which is S1 dash, right? See, S1 to S4 and S1 dash to S4, they are operated in complementary fashion. Means what? Whenever S1 is on, S1 dash must be off. Whenever S2 is on, S2 dash is off. Likewise, right? So now S2, S3, S4 are on, so your point is connected to here. That is VDC by 4. Or if the direction of current is like this, then again you are here. The current can go in any direction, means it can come from pole A, or it can go to pole A. It is bidirectional because you ultimately you have to connect some motor. Motor can, means from phase it can come or it can go inside the phase, so it has to be bidirectional. One thing you should notice, okay, that I will discuss in the coming slide, that is the unbalancing of these diodes, means unequal voltage rating. I'll show you all those things. Now, this is the second category, the flying capacitor multi-level inverter. In this category, what we do, we use several capacitors. You can notice these are known as the flying capacitor. All these are floating in nature. That is why these are the flying capacitor. We can have, in this case, also voltage level VDC by 2, VDC by 4, 0, minus VDC by 4, or minus VDC by 2. Right? So to have these voltage level, what we do, let's see here. For example, we want voltage level VAN is equal to VDC by 2. To have voltage level VDC by 2, what we have to do? We have to turn on all the switches S1 to S4. As simple as that. The moment this is on, this A point is connected to here, and the voltage difference with respect to N is equal to VDC by 2. Here, each capacitor is charged up to level VDC by 4. All the capacitor, means all the capacitors are charged VDC by 4. So this VDC by 4, this VDC by 4, total is VDC by 2. Okay, now suppose you want voltage level VDC by 4, right? You want voltage level VDC by 4. To have voltage level VDC by 4, what you have to do, you just turn on all the upper switches. S1, S2, S3. All these are on. And one switch this side. This is also on. Now just see. This point is connected to here. This voltage is VDC by 2. Now from VDC by 2 to VDC by 2 to this, there is plus 2 minus, plus 2 minus. So draw VDC by 2 minus VDC by 4. It is come out to be VDC by 4. So VAN voltage is equal to VDC by 4. There is another possibility. You can have this operation that S2, S3, S4 are on. S2, S3. Let me erase. S2, S3, S4 are on. These are on. And S4 dash, this is also on. This is also on. Now just see, from here we reach here, VDC by 4, 2 VDC by 4, 3 VDC by 4. VDC by 4. So 3 VDC by 4 minus 2 VDC by 4, again it is come out to be VDC by 4. So there are 3 options are available. But you just think about this. What you required the voltage sensor IC to measure all these capacitor voltage in real time, so that corrective action you can take. Corrective action means the key feature of the successful operation of this topology is this capacitor voltage must be constant and has to be VDC by 4. So you have to make your control strategy such a way that these capacitor voltage are constant. These capacitor voltage are constant. To maintain these capacitor voltage constant, you have to keep on the change in switching such that if capacitor voltage is means overcharged, then it should be discharged using some other way. Some other means any redundant switching is followed. Any redundant switching is followed such that the voltage of VAN is remain VDC by 4 and the direction of current flowing through the capacitor is changed, so that if it is overcharged, it should be discharged, or it is discharged, so it should get charged. That those things has to be taken care of. Right? And you can notice here 6 combinations are possible to have voltage level 0. Right? So means by changing the switching, you can have various type of voltage level. Now the third topology, that is the cascade H bridge. This is the most simpler one, right? And it is the modular base. You can notice a small module, simple H bridge is used to have 9 level operation. We are using 4 bridge per phase, and it can generate 9 level, right? Suppose each capacitor is having VDC, so it can generate 4 VDC, 3 VDC, 2 VDC, VDC, 0, minus VDC, 2 VDC, 3 VDC, and 4 VDC. That is how it generates 9 level. And this is the 3 phase. You can notice we required 4 DC sources. Here it is shown capacitor, but in actual you required the isolated DC sources. The purpose of showing here the capacitor is that, see, DC battery is not exist in the industry. You have to have generate the DC voltage by using AC. Means you have to have use rectifier, then across the means output you just put the capacitor so that this voltage is constant and you will have the DC link. That is why they are in this figure capacitor is shown. So you require 4 plus 4 plus 4, that means 12 DC sources, all are isolated in nature, right? That is the problem. But this problem can be solved using the solar panel. Nowadays everyone is talking about the solar panel, so this could be one of the area of research, right, where you can use the solar panel. One of my students is doing on this topic, that you can using this multi-level operation along with this cascade H bridge, right? That could be one of the idea. Anyhow, we will see. So these are the few advantage or disadvantage, you can say. Advantage in the sense means in the diode clamp only single DC source is required, but at the same time you can notice that voltage rating of the blocking diodes are very high, very high. Here you can notice that thing. If you remember the figure, the previous figure, I have used one diode here and one diode here, but in that case the rating of these two diodes has to be different. But in that case the spare management is difficult, because see, industry prefer a simple easy going thing, right? They want to have the drive or any equipment which is required less maintenance. Suppose you are offering one inverter which uses several type of devices, no one is going to purchase. Reason is spare management is difficult. So what we as a designer can do, although it required different rating, it required high, because this has to be clamped. Oh, sorry, let me go to the previous slide. It required this diode. This diode has to clamp this much voltage. That is the 3 times of this. That is the 3 times of this. That is why we are using the same rating diode, but here we are connecting 3 diodes in series. The advantage of doing this, it can withstand 3 times the voltage rating of this. That is the requirement of the system. At the same time, the diode which are used of the same rating. So suppose there is a fault in the diode, we can easily replace. And in this case, both these two diodes are sharing same voltage level. That is why two diodes are connected. And in the last, this upper diode sharing 3 times the voltage of this. So we are using 3 diodes here. So devices are using of unequal voltage rating, right? And same thing is with the switching devices. That is also, you can notice this switch A1 is on only once, and the rest of the time it is off. Means for 5-level inversion operation, in 4 of the level S1 is on, whereas S4, look at the S4, this, it is on almost all the time. So this device will get heat where this device is cool. So we have to think about this. Heat sink design has to be so proper that it should handle all this heat dissipation. At the same time, we require sorry, one phone call has come. We require different rating of devices. That is the another problem of this. Second problem, that is the capacitor voltage unbalancing. You can see that the C1 capacitor, that is the upper one capacitor, that is less charge and less discharge, whereas the lower one, that is more charge and more discharge. So what happened? That capacitor, outer capacitor get fully charged, whereas inner capacitor are whereas inner capacitor are discharged. That is the problem. That is the problem because the capacitor voltage has to be constant. But here outer capacitor get overcharged and inner capacitor are discharged. So ultimately our 5-level inverter become a simple 2-level inverter and performance get deteriorated. So that is the another problem. All these problems are the research area where we researcher can figure it out. There are huge papers are available to maintain this capacitor voltage and balancing problem. They are addressing these problems. So one can go in this direction. And these are the few advantages. I am not going to discuss all this. You can go to from any base paper, right? Now look at the comparison of this topology. You can see and these are requirement for a single phase. So if it is a 3-phase, you have to make it 3 times of this. You can notice main switch, that is the switching. For example, in case of 5-level inversion operation, if you remember, we required total of 8 switches. So you just put m is equal to 5, m minus 1 is 4, 4 times 2, that is 8. So 8 switches are required in 5-level inversion operation. And these are the main diode. Main diode means a diode which is connected anti-parallel of the main switch. Why diode and switch? The current is bidirectional in nature, right? So we have to have the provision for flowing of this. These my main diodes are used to freewheeling of the current. These diodes are used to freewheeling of the current. And in case of diode clamp MLI, multi-level inverter, we require m minus 1 times m minus 2. That means if it is a 5-level inverter, how many diodes are required? Clamping diode. These are 12. These are 12. M minus 1 is 4. M minus 2 is 3. So 4 into 3, 12 diode per phase. That means 36 diode. 36 diodes we require. Likewise, flying capacitor, as you remember, for 5-level we required 4 DC link capacitor to maintain that 0 VDC by 2 and VDC minus VDC by 2 and minus by 4. So 4 capacitors are required. Likewise, in case of CHB, this requirement is half. This requirement is half because for 5-level only 2 modules are required. So 2 DC links are required. So 5 minus 1 is 4 divided by 2, only 2. And flying capacitor base MLI, we required this much flying capacitor. Flying capacitor are those capacitors which are used in between. So you can notice here we require 12, but here requirement of capacitors are 6. In that sense, FC is better. FC is better because we don't require any clamping diode. We required only half of the capacitor, not the diode. But at the same time, the problem is balancing of these capacitors. We required so many voltage sensors which can sense these capacitor voltage, and they has to control study which make balance of this capacitor voltage. Now the modulation technique, modulation techniques which are used for this MLI, they are characterized in 2 ways. That is, the first is the fundamental switching frequency, where the frequency of the switching is very, very low. That means it is order of fundamental, means somewhere around 50 Hz. And sometimes it is high switching frequency, means like the techniques sinusoidal PWM, space vector modulation. Both the techniques are used. They can switch at the fundamental as well as they can use the switching of very high order, like 1 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, 5 kilohertz, right? And these are the, just do my phone, and these are the just various technique switching techniques schemes which are used. But as far as MLI are concerned, my experience is that the selective harmonic elimination technique is very good for CHB type inverter, right? The beauty of this technique, you can see, for example, we want to eliminate 5, 7, 11, and 13. That is 5th, 7th, 11th, and 13th order harmonic. We have to solve these equations. We have to solve these equations, and we get the particular theta for various CHP, various H bridge. And depending upon these theta, it will harmonic. It will eliminate all these harmonic. Right? So selective, we particular especially want to eliminate whatsoever the harmonic. We select the triggering of the device in such a way that particular harmonics are eliminated. Right? Now, as far as sinusoidal PWM is concerned, as this is the multi-level inversion operation, so we have to have used the several triangular carrier, right? The standard principle, you all must aware of this. Suppose it is a n level inverter, we required n minus 1 triangular carrier to handle n level inversion operation, right? So the arrangement could be done in two ways. The first one is vertical arrangement, or it could be horizontal arrangement. Vertical arrangement, it can be like this. This figure is for 5-level inversion operation. You can notice I have 4 triangular carrier. 1, 2, 3, 4. And same sine wave is there. Same sine wave is there. But orientation of these triangulars are different. These triangulars are different. The first one is phase deposition. You can notice all are in same direction. Whereas here, phase opposition, disposition, you can notice upper two are same as this, whereas lower two are opposite of, that is, these triangulars are the replica of the above two. It is opposite of this. It is opposite of this. Whereas in third, it is the alternate phase opposition. You can see like this and then this. Then again this and then this. Means they are alternating nature. So these three are the vertical configuration which are used for generation of control pulses for the MLI. Whereas this one is the horizontal phase shifting. You can notice there are 4 triangular. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again the same triangular is repeated. You can check. You can check. Then again the same triangular is repeated. Right? So there are 4 triangular. Means our principle is absolutely right. Whenever there is inversion operation of n level, we have to have used n minus 1 inversion, this triangular, right? So the features, or you can say the performance, is evaluated, and you can notice the dominant harmonic component. All this phase shifting or the positioning is related to where our dominant harmonic reside. Here modulation index is taken as 21. 21 means if the fundamental frequency is 50 Hz, so the frequency of the carrier wave is 21 times of the 50 Hz. So if you multiply 21 by 50, you will get 1050. You can notice the dominant harmonic component. You can notice this dominant harmonic component rise at the critical frequency 1050, sideband of that 1050, right? critical frequency is this, and dominant harmonics are like sideband of this, that is 1050 plus minus 1, right? In case of alternate phase opposition position. Now phase deposition, you can notice the dominant harmonics is little bit high, but that is the single one. Means in the previous case you have noticed it is sideband of the FC, but in this case it is exactly lie at the critical frequency FC. So you can easily design the filter which just remove the harmonic of this order FC, right? FC is the heart, so depending upon this order you can design the filter. Now you can notice for phase opposition disposition, again it is the sideband of the critical frequency 1050, but it is little bit high. Now look at the performance for phase shifted. Now see, as of now the harmonics will lie either on at the FC or sideband of the FC, but here the harmonics lies 4 times of the FC, that is 1050 times 1050 multiplied by 4, right? Somewhere 4200 1050 multiplied by 4, 4200 4200, you can see. So your filter size is very reduced. Your filter size is very reduced. That is the advantage of this phase shifted carrier wave modulation. That is the advantage. And next is the space vector modulation technique. This is very good technique. The reason, the advantage is to get the 15% greater than the triangular carrier base modulation. Means the output voltage is enhanced or increased by 15% what you will get in the triangular carrier base modulation technique. But see, whenever there is an advantage, there is also disadvantage. You can see in space vector modulation what we do, we just switch particular switching we follow, right? In this case, you have to find out your reference wave phasor. See, all the 3 phase can be means converted into 2 phase, that is DQ axis transformation, right? Or alpha beta transformation, you can say. Once you have reference phasor, you can find out in which triangular. First of all, you have to find out the sector. It is having 6 sectors. One is this, other one is this, then this, then this, and then this. So 6 sector, and each sector is having 4 triangular. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have to find out the sector, then you have to find out the triangular. Depending upon that triangular, you have to switching in such a way that a reference phasor is generated. This is very complex. This is very complex in nature, right? It is very difficult, especially when the number of levels are quite high. This is the simple 3-level inversion operation. This is the simple 3-level inversion operation. If it 9 level, you can imagine the number of triangle and switching instant. Huge amount, 4096 switching instants are in this case 9-level inversion operation. If time permit, I'll show you the space vector of that 9-level inversion operation also, right? So in that sense, it is a space vector modulation. It is very difficult task to find out where exactly the reference phasor is live, and the switching is to be generated, right? So, and these is sigma delta modulation or LLC modulation. All these are, and this hysteresis, this is very important, especially for non-linear load, and you want to control the current. What you have to do, you just decide the current that is in sinusoidal, and you keep on switching. You keep on switching between the band. Whenever current go beyond this, you change the switching set that current goes low. Whenever it touches the lower band, you do the switching. So the current is switching like this within this band. The more narrow the band, the more you switching, right? In this case, you don't know at what frequency the switching occur, right? It depends upon the band of the this hysteresis loop that you have to think about. See, it is very just giving you some idea. I'm trying not giving. I'm just trying to give you some idea where you can do start your research, right? Depending upon your interest. LLC, and this is the comparative thing. You can see that selective harmonic elimination technique, diode clamp inverter, it is most appropriate for this. That is the diode clamp base, and these are the application of this DCMLI. It could be used in motor drive, it could be used in active power filter related to this. Here I have shown the various applications of this because I am just looking the watch. Time is very short. It is going very fast, and you can see the various application of MLI. You won't find any single field where these MLIs are not involved nowadays. UPS uses MLI. Automotive application, it could be electric vehicle, or it could be HEV. It could be used in the mining application, right? It could be used in the traction application. It could be used in the STATCOM, active filter, FACS, whether you are related to power system side or you are related to power electronics and drive side, you can use these MLI for various purpose depending upon your domain. And another very important domain is this, that is the renewable energy conversion, right? See, we use wind generator, right? This wind generator, we use the induction generator. Induction generator is having especially used in case of wind power application, right? Since induction generator, because wind, depending upon the speed of wind, that induction generator rotate and the frequency is varying. But what you want, if you want to connect this output to the grid, you have to generate the frequency at 50 hertz. So what you do, you convert this AC into DC, then again DC into AC. So for conversion purpose, you can use MLI, multi-level converter. It could be multi-level rectifier, which is used here in the first stage, that is converting from AC to DC, multi-level rectifier. Then again, multi-level inverter from DC to AC. So there it can be used. It could be used in the photovoltaic application, as I said earlier. Several modules are used, and these modules, as I have shown, that CHP type applications, cascade HPH, small module you can connect in series and get the high voltage rating of that module. There you can use, and see, this is the prominent application, that is that it could be DTC, that is a direct torque control or field oriented control, where our MLI could be used. This is very wonderful area. Here you can see this is the multipulse rectifiers are used. It could be 24 pulse rectifier, where we generate plus 22.5, plus 7.5, minus 7. Minus 22.5 phase shifted rectifier means primary there is one star or to be data connected, and secondary there are 4 secondary winding which are phase shifted by these angles. So input current is also improved at the same time, since you are using the multi-level inverter, so output is also improved. That is called multi-pulse, multi-inverter base, multi-level inverter base induction motor drive. That is the another area which you can apply your this, and these are the all detail of this application. All these are the application. Arvind Saab, I think कितना टाइम है हमारे पास? Because as you said, it is 1 hour, so only 10 minutes are left. Is it possible? Some more time? I
we
think
have
not
only 10
possible.
minutes,
No problem.
but
I try to bind up.
yeah, I think there are some participants also. They are also like looking to ask some questions, so we can take up.
Okay. I just give one small slide, right? That is very interesting topic because it is related to my PhD, and I found this is very useful for today's world because everybody is talking about the electric vehicle, right? In electric vehicle, this type of induction motor could be used because in electric vehicle the main problem is related to battery. Size of the battery has to be small. So to have a small size battery, what we can do, we can use a simple induction motor and just open this neutral point. So once you open your neutral point, the induction motor neutral point, it will have 6 terminals. Now these 6 terminals are fed by simple 2-level inverter from both sides, and the performance is equivalent to 3-level inversion operation. The performance is equivalent to 3-level inversion operation. You can see the pole voltage could have either 0 or VDC by 2. So in the level which could be generated are minus VDC by 2, 0 and VDC by 2. I just show the just and see this is the 5-level space vector diagram. You can see how many terminals are required, and you have to find out which switching is to be turned on to get the reference phasor in particular sector or triangle. You can see, and all these are the just I'll show you the 9-level inversion operation. This you can see how many these are the 217 switching instance position are possible, and 4096 switching instance are possible. You can imagine how difficult to manage all this switching. This is the space vector diagram for 9-level inversion operation. To get this equivalent performance, some modulation, you can refer some paper. There are some my paper as well. I'll give you the reference. There we have used some offset setting to introduce with the sine wave and get the equivalent performance of the space vector modulation, right? So these are the results, but it is very difficult to discuss all these things, so I just skipping, and it is quite high. Actually, I was not aware that this webinar is going to be happening in the monologue mode, right? So I have just let me show the thank you slide at the last. I think somewhere around 182. Okay. See, you can note down my email ID as it is the monologue way. So I'll try to answer all your query, whatever the received by the coordinator, Dr. Arvind, on the this WhatsApp group. If any query is unanswered, don't hesitate. You just keep on doing the mail or in the WhatsApp group. I'll try to give answer all your query, or jointly we can do, if possible, something that is beneficial for you as well as me. All right. Thank you from my side. If you have any query, you can ask. Arvind sir, as you said, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. We are having query from one of the participants.
So I listen. Means I should turn off this presentation, or what I supposed to do?
You may keep it over here. The question is, what about the strategy of reduced switch for high-level MLI?
Just let me close this. Okay, Dr. Arvind, now tell me, what are you saying?
So participant has asked the question, what about the strategy of reduce switch for high level MLI?
See, you have to do compromise between the output and the number of switches. As if the TSD is come out to be somewhere around less than 5%, then it is quite okay. No need to go the beyond level. See, the time was not permitting. That is why I have not shown you the slide, or in fact, I just pass away those slides. You know, in industry, hardly 5-level inversion operation drive is exist. Generally, these are the 3 level, but in the research, we have reached up to 102 level, right? It is depend upon the user. वो कहते हैं ना सब लाला, कितना पैसा शेयर आपको मिल सकता है उस ड्राइव को जहां आप बेचने जा रहे हो. Because it should not be like this. कि साहब, our inverter is generating the sinusoidal waveform. You know, for generating sinusoidal waveform, what should be the number of level? Ideally, it is infinite. Means you required infinite number of level to generate sinusoidal waveform. That is next to impossible. So you have to compromise between the number of switches used, and that is that depend upon the not number of switches, that is the number of level in the inversion operation, so that your TSD is in comparison, means it is fulfill your design criteria. And to reduce the number of switches, huge number of topologies are available in the research. This could be one of the area where you are proposing some topology which is reduced number of switching and having higher number of level as compared to the conventional, right?
We are having another question from one of the participants.
Yes.
How to decide which control technique of MLI best suits for which application?
See, I have already given you one table that is depend. If, for example, that selective harmonic elimination technique, it is good for the diode clamp inverter, right? So, thus, depending upon the application, whether you want the fundamental output or you want the high frequency output. One of my students is working on this aircraft application. Their switching frequency, in fact, the output frequency is quite high. There, you can use the switching frequency which is having the less switching losses, because already you require the high.
Hello, Dr. Sanjeev. Right. Dr. Sanjeev, if you can hear us, there is another query from one of the participants.
Yes.
Just give a brief idea about hybrid MLIs.
Hybrid MLI.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go to the slide. See, just give me a second. I'll show you one topology. See, this hybrid means you are mixing two topology, right? Whenever you are mixing two topology, that will become the hybrid kind of topology, as the name suggests. I'll show you one topology which is hybrid in nature. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Just here. See, this is the hybrid MLI. Why it is hybrid MLI? You can notice it is using one flying capacitor, which is using one flying capacitor. Let me change the color because both are in black. Let me change the color. See, these are the floating in nature. So you can say this is the H bridge having one flying capacitor, and this is the conventional two-level inverter. This is the conventional two-level inverter. So a simple induction motor, it is open from its neutral. One side simple two-level inverter is feeding, and other side hybrid 5-level. Why we call it hybrid 5-level? Because none of the topology is in conventional in nature. Means there is a flying capacitor base, some circuitry. There is also H bridge circuit. You can notice four devices are connected in the fashion of H bridge. That is why it is the hybrid in nature. So hybrid means whenever you are using more than one topology, then this is called the hybrid multi-level inverter. Right? There is not any specific variety. What is hybrid? It could be diode plus FC, it could be FC plus CHB, it could be cascade plus FC plus diode, something like that. Right? Means more than one topology is adopted to get the desired output. Yes. Next.
So again in this line, the question is only H bridge can make hybrids?
No. Here you can see now the flying capacitor I have used. I have used flying capacitor as well along with this H bridge. It is not like that this only H bridge is means related to hybrid topology. It is not like
that. Another question is, what is the difference in output and switching frequency?
See, output. Just a minute. Output means here the phase voltage of across the load. That is the output frequency. For example, I tell you a simple example. So we are using inverter at our home, right? The output of the inverter is somewhere around 50 hertz. I am using the word somewhere because it is very difficult to have exact 50 hertz. Plus minus something is always there. So output is near about 50 hertz. Whereas the switching frequency of the inverter inside the inverter to get this sinusoidal waveform could be 10 kilohertz, could be 5 kilohertz, right? So that is the difference of switching frequency and output. Switching frequency means the frequency at which these switches are. The frequency at which these switches. Arvind, can you see my mouse pointer?
Yes.
At present.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
fine. For example, this SC1, at which switching frequency this switch is on off. That is the switching frequency of these switches, whereas the output is this. Or you can understand by this. The frequency of the triangular carrier, is of order of kilohertz. That is related to your switching frequency. Whereas the fundamental, that was the reference rate of your output frequency, that is of 50 hertz. That is the difference between the switching frequency and the output frequency is related to the output. Whereas switching frequency is the frequency of switch, and at it these switches are on and off to get the desired output frequency. Yes.
One more question is there. Can we
Sure.
use optimization techniques to reduce the switch count of MLI?
Can we use?
Optimization techniques to reduce the number of switch count.
Listen. Whenever nowadays I have noticed one thing, that just to write a paper, people are starting writing optimization. See, optimization is applicable where you are having so many constraints. Then you have to optimize the thing, right? Here, how much constraints are there? Only the switching losses and the output frequency. That if the TSD is required, someone saying I want this much TSD, then you cannot play with the switching frequency. You have to have the switching frequency such that it will generate the TSD as it is desired. So that I don't think that optimization technique or something is required to use here. It is not required as of my sense. Because there are not so many parameters which are to be optimized, right? Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. I think now I can't see any question over here. So
there is a one question.
Oh, sure. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, what is the actually difference between the MLI and MMI?
MMI. See, MLI is multi-level inverter. As I'm also from the industry because this HBTI is my first teaching job. So in industry, MMI is man-machine interface, right? There is, I don't know in what sense you are asking or someone is asking.
The
Yes.
that is a multi-level inverter and multi-modular inverter.
Okay, see, multi-modular, one thing I have shown you, that is the cascade H-bridge inverter. That you have noticed, na? There are several modules of H-bridge are connected. For example, to have 5-level inverter, we are having that 4 module. That is known as multi-module inverter. Multi-module inverter is a technique to have multi-level inversion operation, right?
Okay.
Multi-module is a technique to have multi-level inversion operation. For example, I have shown you one operation where cascade H-bridge, there are 4 modules. 4 modules are connected in a single phase. So if you want to increase the number of level, you just insert one more level in the series, right?
Okay.
That is multi-module or modular multi-level. That is called MMLI. That is why I confuse MMI. MMI nahi, this is called, I think, MMLI.
Okay.
Modular multi-level inverter. MMI is, I think, man-machine interface. I may be wrong.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So there is another question from the persons. Like many different control strategies are there to operate the multi-level inverter. So with respect to any level, for example, say maybe 5 level or maybe 7 level, we are operating with a different control strategy. So which one is the better one? It's with respect to the real-time applications. And
see, in real-time application, either you have to use DSP, or you have to have used DSPs, or you have to have used some kind of OpenLRT system. One thing you must remember, that generation of these triangulars are very difficult in the case of a real-time operation, right?
yes.
In that case, you do something that you generate a single triangle, and by phase shifting or by adding something, for example, I have generated one, I'll just give you one example. I have generated one triangular 0 to 5 volt, right? Simple one triangular. 0 to 5, then again 0, 0, 5, 0, 5. So I have generated one repeated sequence which starts from 0 at 0. It is f by 2, it is somewhere 5 volt, and then again 0. Now if we add 5 volt in this, what would happen? It will reach to 5, 10, 5, isn't it?
Yes.
0, 0, 5, 0, I will add 5, so it will reach to 5, 10, 5, so on and so forth. So in real-time application, you have to think about this way, in which way you can generate the triangular wave depending upon your hardware, because the constraint is in the hardware, not in the software. In the MATLAB, you can do anything, right? No problem. But when it comes in the real-time implementation, you have to think about with your hardware whether it is supporting to this or not. Especially, see, there is a big difference between the prototype and the actual product.
Yes.
We researchers are working on the prototype, not the right. So that depends upon the constraint of the lab, what is available with you, right?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome. Yes, anything else? Yes, sir.
We are not having any question from the participants now. So now I'll take this opportunity. In fact, it's a privilege for me to be part of this webinar. Uh, I'm very thankful to you on behalf of my colleagues, Professor Manish Pandya, Mr. Brijesh Acharya, and whole the fraternity of Parul University for being part of this webinar. You have thrown lots of light to several topics which are really sometimes confusing to many of the candidates. So I'm sure that candidate must have delighted by listening the contents that you have delivered over here. Some queries might have been generated and you have tried your best to answer the queries also. At the same time, I'll request all the participants that whatever queries they are having, they can post it to me, or Dr. Sanjeev has already shared his email ID with all of you. You may post your queries over there also. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev, for being with us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.